recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am here today with Chris Hollister. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Jonathan. It's good to be back on the show. How are you holding up today?
Good to have you, man. I'm doing great today. I am excited.
Good.
It's going to be a great day.
Yes, it will.
I am here with Carmela Smith. Hello, Carmela.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome back. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Absolutely. We have 2 awesome guests today. We have Matt Chesnut with us today. Hello, Matt.
Hey, guys. How's it going today?
Doing great. Glad you're back, man. Glad you're back. Good to see you.
Good to be back.
And Joe Schwenk is joining us for the first time. Hello, Joe.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jonathan.
Absolutely glad you're here. Now, I want to get to know you guys a little bit better. So, Matt, we'll start with you. Tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself. Actually, remind everybody. You've been on a few times, so they may know.
It's been a while, probably about a year or so. But yeah, I live in Titusville, Florida. I work for a state organization that works to grow the aerospace industry in the state of Florida. So we go out and look for companies that want to launch rockets and satellites and airplanes and aircraft and all kinds of things, and to have them build those things here in Florida. So it's a fun job that I do. I get all over the state of Florida. I think there's fun trivia facts, 67 counties in the state of Florida. In the last 2 years, I've been in 64 of them in some way. So I have been, and this year I've been from Pensacola to Homestead already. So I've seen the state. Wow. So, but it's a fun job. It gets me out and I enjoy it.
For those of you that don't live here, that's pretty much the whole state.
That's it's a good 12-hour drive from the southern tip of Florida to the west panhandle area. So it's a haul. I didn't do it all in one day. It's just, I
was going to say, you've put some miles in on your car, haven't you?
Well, fortunately, I get rental cars, so I chuck it up on those. But yeah, I've done several thousand miles already, even in this year. So
for you folks in New England, that distance is about 10 states over.
Almost to the Mississippi River at that point. Yeah,
Florida's a lot bigger than people think it is.
2 time zones too.
And so that's what you do for a living. But something fun about yourself.
Something fun about it. Well, actually, I'm going to go today. I've got, after this, my son's a competitive bowler. So I'm going to go to a bowling tournament again. He's a junior in high school. And so I spend an inordinate amount of time at bowling centers. They're not bowling alleys. They are bowling centers.
Bowling centers. I love bowling.
Yes. So he does it without alcohol and bowls way better than I do when I have beer and bowl. I always thought I was a better bowler with beer, but I'm not at all.
Live and learn, my man. Live and learn.
I know. Absolutely.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, Jonathan and I were in a bowling league at one point in time.
We sure were. We bowled
stuff.
together. It was fun.
That's right.
I missed
that. It really was. Me too.
All right. And Joe, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Joe. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I help run a small pharmacy a couple towns over. We do a lot of nursing homes, assisted living facilities, help people manage their medications. It's a lot of fun. It beats working for those big retail chain pharmacies. And I really like what I do. It gives you a good chance to interact with the patients, get to know them, first name basis, get to know, things about them. I really like it. And something fun about myself, well, I couldn't come up with anything on my own, so I had to ask my wife, what's something fun about me? And she said, well, you tried out for Sesame Street when you're younger. That's a fun story.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, so We used to live out east, and my mom took me to New York. There was a whole bunch of kids lined up, and what they did was they put you in front of a green screen and said, okay, you're going to be flying with Grover. And so you have to act like you're having fun and flying with Grover. And there's a little screen that you can see what the camera's picking up so you can kind of get more energized about it. I didn't get the part. I was, knowing myself, I was probably just standing there with my hands up in the air, not making any facial expressions about being excited about flying with Grover. So,
it's funny how life comes around full circle, because now, as a drug dealer in a pharmacy, you can go flying with Grover whenever you want. Grover just has to come visit.
Exactly.
I would have been so happy to fly with Grover. He's my favorite on Sesame Street.
That would be amazing. Very cool. Well, we're glad that you are here, and it's time to get rolling here. So let's get started with Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
One of the things when I was writing this week's episode, I really realized how much I love tri-bond questions.
Oh, me too.
As a matter of fact, in round 2, we have 3 tri-bond questions that'll be coming up. It's a tri-bond round.
Excited.
A tri-bond of questions. That's right.
You should have done that in round 3 and it would have been a try.
Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to make that switch. I'm going to make that switch right now. Absolutely. That's a great idea. See, this is why Carmela gets paid the big bucks.
Hold on, Chris. Are you a tri-bond or a do-bond?
Well, now after I switch it around, I'll be a tri-bond. But so what I did was I came up with some traditional tri-bond questions. And so if you've ever played the game Tri-Bond, I'm going to give you 3 words, and I want you to figure out the correlation of the 3 words. Okay? So, Jonathan, I'm going to start with you first.
Okie dokie.
And you get your 3 words are lily, bachelor, and shoulder.
Pads. Lily pad, bachelor pad, shoulder pad.
That is correct. All right. Carmela, you get butter, brittle, and oil.
You're coming from my brand here, by the way. This is basically foreplay.
Well,
wow.
I hear you.
I didn't know you were that forward.
I know you are, but it's just like I don't have anything cool at the end.
This is more like menage a trois. This is not foreplay.
But this is peanut.
Peanut is correct. Great job, Matt.
Yes.
You get palm, Christmas, and apple.
Well, palm, obviously. Tree, Christmas tree, apple tree.
That is correct. Good job.
Awesome.
And Joe, you get school, skate, and hard. School, skate, and hard.
There's a reason I never signed up for foreplay.
A fantastic show hosted by the one and only Carmela Smith.
Board, B-O-A-R-D.
Board is correct. Nice job. All right, let's go into round 2. Everybody's perfect. I love it. So, Jonathan, you get south, barber, and telephone.
Poles.
Poles are correct. Good job. And Carmela, you get shin, soup, and funny.
Bone.
Bone is correct.
Instigate.
All right, so
Instigate.
Matt, you get
my bones.
Rim shot, please. All right. Matt, you get Freudian, half, and sales. Half, H-A-L-F, and sales.
S-A-I-L-S or S-A-L-E-S?
S-A-L-E-S.
Slip. Freudian slip.
Slip is correct. Well done.
Good job.
All right. All right, Joe, to keep it perfect. Phone, note, cook.
I'm going to have to say book on that one.
Book is correct. And after 2 rounds, everybody is perfect and getting warmed up. Here we go. Jonathan, your next one. Baby, goose, and speed.
When you first said baby, the first word that came to my mind was oil. Goose oil? Speed oil. Baby, I don't know what this is. Baby, goose, and speed. Speed boat, goose boat. Baby boat? No. Speed racer? Baby racer? Speed. Full speed? Full baby? Top speed? Top baby?
Going full baby.
That's one full baby you got there.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. What do y'all got?
It's a bump. Goose bump. Speed bump. Baby bump.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't getting that. I could have gone another 5 minutes.
Bump is correct, Carmela. Well done. But Carmela, we go to you now.
Okay.
You get coffee, class, and check. Coffee, class, check.
When you said coffee, the first thing I thought was grounds, but that doesn't make sense with the other two. There's coffee cup. There's drip coffee. I don't know this one.
Can anybody help her out?
Yeah, I got it. Is it mate?
Mate is correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
Coffee
sense.
mate.
These are getting harder.
All right. So, Matt, you get search, fire, and auto.
Search, fire, and auto.
That's correct. Not the answer being correct, but the words, yeah.
Oh,
Auto,
okay.
AUTO.
AUTO, yes.
So search, like searchlight, search. Man, that's tough. It's, like search and rescue, fire and rescue, but it's one word. It's not going to do that. Light, firelight, auto light. Maybe? I'll just say light. I know that's not it, but light.
That is incorrect. Can somebody help him out?
No.
How about engine? Engine, search engine,
Search engine.
fire engine, auto engine.
Yeah, the auto
All
engine
right.
threw me off, yeah.
All right. So, Joe, here's your next one, and that is first, legal, and hearing.
First aid, hearing aid, legal aid. I'm going to say aid.
That is correct. Well done.
Joe,
Good
strong
job.
move.
All right. I got enough for one more round. Do you want to do one more? Or you
Let's
guys
do
warmed
it.
up?
Yeah.
This is actually one of those times when the game actually is warming your brain up.
Okay, cool.
Let's get some neurons firing over here.
All right. So, Jonathan, you get lime, Lime, spot, and flash.
You know what? It might help to write them down. Lime, spot,
Yep.
limestone, lime. How are you spelling lime? Lime?
Yes.
Spot, start, lime, start, flash, bulb, spot, bulb, spotlight, flashlight, limelight. It's light.
Light is correct. Good
Was
job.
that the second light we had?
No,
Light.
Matt
No.
said
Light.
light, but it wasn't right.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well,
It
he had a
was-
fright,
you said-
didn't he?
So, Carmela, your last one is ant, Billy, and capital. Ant, Billy, Billy, and capital.
Is ant like the insect or like the person?
No, good question. A-N-T, like the insect.
Oh. It's a piss. The piss ants.
Billy piss. I don't know. Club?
Club is incorrect. Can anybody help her?
Is it hill?
Hill is correct.
Oh, Matt is good at these.
Hillbilly.
I get everybody's but mine. It works out well.
Yep.
And then
All
give
right.
answers to ones that haven't been asked.
Matt, you get passenger, carrier, and homing.
That's pigeon, I believe.
Pigeon is correct. All right, Joe, to finish it out, you get wedding, sleigh, and door. And sleigh is S-L-E-I-G-H.
You said wedding, sleigh, and door?
Correct.
Oh, bells.
There you
Bells.
go.
Sleigh bells, door
Bells is correct. All right, and then just for the group real quick, we have water, oil, and HG.
Wells.
Well,
Wells, yes. Guide, eared, and hot.
Dog.
Dog is correct. And then the last one is Glenn, Henry, and Harrison.
Ford.
Ford is correct. Wow.
Hey.
Matt.
crushed it.
Somebody's
All right.
warm.
Anyway,
Well, good being here today, guys. Great show.
anyway, but that is your warming up Chris question of the episode.
Outstanding. Thank you, Chris. So, guys, this is going to be episode number 314 of Trivial Warfare. This is on the main feed. We are super pumped for you guys to hear this. And if you want more Trivial Warfare in your life, I've got a lot more for you. We have over 200 episodes on our Patreon site at trivialwarfarearmy.com. All you have to do is sign up at the $5 a month level or above, claim your rank, and get access to all kinds of awesome old episodes. And I mean, we've had some good freaking runs of shows that are completely behind the paywall at this point, so you don't want to miss out on those. That's trivialwarfarearmy.com. Today's game, it's going to be Jonathan and Matt versus Carmela and Joe. Chris is hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
Your first question in round 1 is in sports ball. And your question is, in 1972, who did Sports Illustrated name their first female sports person of the year?
Chris really didn't give us much in the way of clues to direct us between the potential options here.
I mean, we're locked in.
Okay. So I threw out Billie Jean King, the Battle of the Sexes. I don't know the year, but probably around that area. And the standing out over Laver would have been something that would have been really highly celebrated. But Matt, you had a different idea as well.
Yeah, 72 was the Olympics, and I believe it was the first year they had a perfect score in the Olympics, and I always get them mixed up, Nadia Comaneci or Olga Korbut.
Comaneci is the one that got the perfect 10.
And then I would say that would probably be where I would lean, but Billie Jean King's a good one, but I want to say that was like 71, 70 maybe, but Sports Person of the Year comes out into the year, so it'd been full 72. But man, for me, it's between Billie Jean King and Comaneci.
So the one piece of logic I have, because we're kind of, are you sure about 72 being the date for the perfect 10?
Well, I was, but now you've of course put the seed of doubt into my mind. As it
Well, the reason he does that.
No, well,
I believe it was 72. I don't
surety.
think it was 76. I know it was 70, so it was either 72 or 76.
Okay.
Munich or Montreal.
But the reason I was asking is, it was running through my head, if you thought Billie Jean King was before that, I have a hard time thinking that King wasn't acknowledged in that way when the Battle of the Sexes happened that year, because that was one of the biggest news stories in sports of the year. But at the same time, it could have been anybody. It could have been Terry Bradshaw or whoever was big in the early 70s. So I'm not feeling strongly. I have a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I think either one is a solid answer. I could go either way.
Do you think they would have gone with the non-American and celebrated the non-American female as the first?
It was a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a big deal that happened, and people, and of course, when you didn't have cable, the Olympics dominated the TV, and they replayed obviously, and you didn't have all the spoilers like you have nowadays, where you would know right away. But it was a big deal. But so was Billie Jean King too.
Let's do Coma. If you feel good about that, if you think that's the right,
it was my gut reaction, and sometimes I always say your gut usually is right in a lot of cases. So,
let's go with it.
Okay.
At least we feel good about the year where the other one might not even be that year. So let's do that. We'll say we'll just say Comaneci.
So I'm not good at sports, and I couldn't tell you anything about the Olympics in 1972. So definitely didn't think about Comaneci at all. But Joe and I both threw out Billie Jean King, and I was like, I'm not going to come up with anything better. So we decided to go with Billie Jean King.
Okay. And the reason why she got it was due to her working hard for pay disparities between men and women and women athletes. In tennis, it was Billie Jean King.
Woo.
Nice.
I got a sports question.
Wow.
All right.
That's awesome. I mean, I completely can see Komanichi being that person. Maybe she was in a different year. I don't know. Perfect 10 is like impossible. So.
Yep.
Depends on which judges you pay off.
I pay off plenty. Thank you very much.
And I still can't get a perfect 10.
Exactly.
I got a 1 and a 0 next to each other, though. I thought that was pretty good.
And Nadia Comaneci was the 1976 Olympics.
Oh, no, Matt. That feels worse now. That feels much worse now.
Kick me when I'm down, yeah.
Oh, my God.
The idea is to get a binary score, right? So it's all ones and zeros?
Yeah, that's my skill level. All right. Question 2.
Yeah, your second question, round 1, is in the U.S. Constitution. It's a pretty straightforward question. What United States Constitution amendment ended slavery?
We're locked in.
You're locked in?
I just can't tell you.
Matt, we can talk.
Okay. Yeah, 13th or 14th.
14th is... Which one's income tax? 14th or 16th?
It's not the 14th. 14th is a civil rights type amendment.
All right, then income tax must be the 16th. Then I would have said 14th if you put a gun to my head and made me guess one.
Same as my first, yeah. But I know there's 2 in there.
Well, I mean, if it's both of our guts, we don't have any more information. So
we both said 14.
Yeah. Why don't we go 14?
Okay.
All right, we'll say the 14th.
All right, Joe and Carmela.
We did not say the 14th, Joe.
No, we didn't. But
yeah. So I threw out the 13th, and Joe went, "Yep." There's a whole docuseries about the 13th Amendment that came out recently, and we could have a whole civics conversation about whether or not it actually ended slavery, because it only ended slavery in certain circumstances. But we went with the 13th.
Okay. And it has 2 sections in it, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime wherever parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. And then section 2, Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. It was the 13th Amendment.
Okay.
We're bad on coin flips, Jonathan.
Well, it's fine. This is fine.
I'm okay.
You can't see it, but Jonathan's
okay.
entire background is now on fire, and he's fine.
I was thinking Han Solo in the Death Star, but sure, we could do that one too. So
I was definitely going for Flame Dog.
Okay, fair enough. Your last question in round 1 is in science.
Science.
And what is the lightest known solid element on the periodic table?
All right, Matt, what do you got? You don't have anything. Well, that's lovely. Could you read the question again, Chris?
Absolutely. What is the lightest known solid element on the periodic table?
I can't think of anything before that.
I don't know the periodic table.
All right, well, let's go ahead and lock that in then. All right, we're locked in.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, I'm just going to be naming random elements until so.
Yeah, I know where elements are for the most part in the tables. It's just is that a solid? But like I said, lithium is right below hydrogen, and I think lithium is technically a metal.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then that's I don't know, number 3 or 4 on the chart. But if it's not a metal and I'm misremembering it, then I don't know what it is. So.
Well, I think lithium is a metal. I think that it is. I'm fine with that because I've got nothing substantial to add.
Okay. All right. Then let's go with lithium. That's what we're going to lock in with.
All right. And Jonathan and Matt.
So we let both Evanescence and Nirvana inspire our answer. We went with the lightest metal we knew, and we said lithium.
And your answer is lithium.
All right.
Well done, both teams.
We needed
Great job, Jonathan.
So after 1 round, Carmela and Joe with 30, Jonathan and Matt with 10. All right, here's your first question in the second round. It's in art. Your question is, what 18th and 19th century Spanish artist is often referred to as the last of the old masters and the first of the moderns.
You didn't say where he's from or anything like that?
I said what 18th and 19th century Spanish artist
Spanish, thank you.
is often referred to as the last of the old masters and the first of the moderns.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to lock in. We're going to lock in an answer.
Okay.
So I've got nothing.
Well, like I said, it's too early for Dali or Picasso. Velasquez and De Goya were the other ones I was thinking about, and I think maybe De Goya is the right time frame. I mean, I can't pin down exact years, but I feel like he had some work in the early 1800s, which would put him at the time frame that Chris is asking. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm kind of at the limit of Spanish painters that are not modern.
I'm fine with whatever you're more confident in, whatever your gut is saying. Because I don't want to say something and like steer in the wrong direction.
Right. I don't know when Velasquez was painting. De Goya, I can kind of point to maybe early 1800s. So I think that's the one I'd be the most comfortable with going with.
I'm good with it.
All right. So we're going to say De Goya.
All right. Matt and Jonathan.
So the names that I threw out there were Goya, Velasquez, and El Greco. And in my mind, I was kind of visualizing paintings that I know by them, and I don't know that much about Velasquez, so I couldn't really place his style. You know what, Matt? Now that I can't change it, but neither one of us named Degas. And
no, we did not.
Degas is a pretty good fit. But so from the look of the art, I liked El Greco better than Goya for the clue, and so our answer was El Greco. But I'm not sure about his time frame.
Completely forgot about El Greco. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the right answer.
Cross my fingers.
And your answer is Francisco Goya.
So now you have to determine if their pronunciation of adding the DE makes it a different name.
I thought
it's
not De Goya. Sure it's Francisco.
It's Francisco
Are you
Goya.
Sure?
I'm 100%
sure. It's Goya. It's not De Goya. You can feel free to look, Carmela, but yes, it is Goya. And
so what's your ruling, Chris?
I'm going to say no. I'm sorry. It's Goya.
Francisco Jose de Goya Lucentes is a Spanish romantic painter and printmaker.
Really?
Yep.
You know what? If that's verifiable, then you got to give credit.
Where are you looking at?
That's Wikipedia. It's also metmuseum.org.
Okay.
Britannica.com. So
Francisco Jose de Goya e Luciente. You know what? It's not how he's commonly referred to, but it's in his name. You can't take away from that.
I cannot. You're 100% right. Circle gets the square. 10 points to Carmel and Joe.
Nice job.
I always learned it as De Goya. I don't
That's
know
really
why.
Weird.
No. I mean, actually, this is Goya is one of my aunt's favorite artists, and so I've always heard her talk about it as Goya. So,
I mean, that's the only way I've ever heard it.
Yeah. So, but no, Circle gets the square. Well done, Carmel. Well argued.
Man, we're getting our ass kicked, Matt.
We are.
Your second question in round 2 is in fast food, and your question is what primarily breakfast fast food chain was originally called Open Kettle when it opened in 1948? Again, the question is, what primarily breakfast fast food chain was originally called Open Kettle when it opened in 1948?
How are we determining fast food? Like, do we just mean something with a drive-through, or?
Yeah, the answer that I immediately leap to is like, oh, that's casual. That's not fast food.
How do we define fast food here?
I will say that they primarily, meaning that most of them that are out there have drive-through service.
Okay. That's helpful.
I cannot say all of them because technically I don't know if all of them would have it. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
We're going to lock in.
We were about to do the same. So it's been a hard conversation trying to narrow down fast food. It's like, okay, when you hear Open Kettle, immediately you leap to Cracker Barrel. But it's like Cracker Barrel doesn't have drive-thrus most of the time. And then it's like, hey, neither does Waffle House. And Hardee's and McDonald's aren't primarily breakfast places. What are the Dunkin' Donuts? Is that fast food or is it just a donut shop? Who knows? We ended up locking in with Huddle House.
Okay.
They do have drive-thrus and they are primarily breakfast.
I didn't know they had drive-thrus. I just thought it was like a weird Waffle House.
With a drive-thru, that would be weird.
And wrong colors.
So Joe and I went kind of back and forth. We're trying to figure out. We thought maybe it sounded Southern. And I was trying to remember. So I'm a pretty big fan of the Try Guys on YouTube. And Keith does these series called Eat the Menu, where he eats like everything on a restaurant's menu.
Whoa.
Not like all of it, but like a bite of each thing. And to determine what's the best thing that restaurant has. And the first thing that he opens with is just like a history of that restaurant. So I'm trying to think, I'm like, did he ever talk about this restaurant? The places that were primarily breakfast were the places like Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kreme. And he's done one on Dunkin' Donuts. And I thought maybe I can convince myself that I remember him saying open kettle.
Please, God,
so we ended up locking.
Please, God, no.
So we ended up going with Dunkin'.
Okay. Well, this company was bought out by Baskin Robbins in 1990.
Oh, my God.
It is Dunkin' Donuts.
God.
We're like paddling backwards.
This is awful. I feel bad. I feel bad, Matt. It's like maybe I need to get you on a different episode because
or I'm sitting here going, well, this is Matt Chesnut's last episode of
Oh my God.
Gosh.
Oh, geez.
As we continue this train wreck rolling, last question in round 2 is in beverages. And this famously canned beverage was inspired by a drink from Thailand called Karatang Dang in 1987. It now holds the highest market share of any energy drink with 7.5 billion cans sold each year as of 2019. And Karatang Dang is spelled K-A-ratingDaeng.
All right, we're on the same page. If we're wrong, then we can live with it.
Are you sure?
No.
This one's not a coin flip for you?
I mean, it is, but we made our flip quickly. Our penny's just laying on the ground at this point. It's just we're just sticking with whatever side is facing up. We're not flipping it anymore.
Mine has 2 heads. I figured that out. It's wrong.
All right, Joe, so you and I can talk.
Yeah, you mentioned Red Bull. Obviously, that's the first thing I thought of too.
It's the oldest one I can think of.
I was just trying to cycle through some other energy drinks, and they're all like random generic names.
Yeah.
Monster,
Yeah, Monster, I remember being like really popular when I was like in high school, so that would have been like the 2000s. I remember Red Bull commercials when I was a kid. Red Bull gives you wings or whatever. So I think it's older.
87?
I don't know, man. I can't. Energy drinks for me are such a newish thing,
Mm-hmm.
But obviously something's been around long enough, and Red Bull is the only one I could think of that has, one, the market reach, and 2, that might be the oldest that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I think of energy drinks, I pretty much focus on Red Bull too. So if he says it has the largest market share, it's probably not going to be something obscure. So
right.
I'm good.
All right, so we're gonna go with Red Bull.
Okay,
Jonathan, I think we're around the same age, I would throw out the original energy drink was Jolt Cola. And
don't forget Surge.
Surge, man. Surge was like the Mountain Dew of Jolt Cola, right? So those are good. And Jonathan and I kind of went down the same road. It was, Jonathan threw 2 names out, Red Bull or 5 Hour Energy. I remember Red Bull coming out probably in the late 90s. I don't think it was before that. I think it was right around time I was getting out of college. So I think that's when I saw Red Bull coming out. Tasted awful then, tastes awful now for me anyway. So we went with Red Bull as well.
Okay. And your answer is, if you think about it, their iconic can is a very slim design with blue and silver on it. It is Red Bull.
Nice.
It's Red Bull? I want some bread bowl.
Yes.
That sounds amazing.
Did I say bread bowl or
A little bit. A little bit. He said, it is bread bowl. I was like, yes.
I think I'm going to Panera for lunch today.
That sounds great.
After 2 rounds, Carmela and Joe still in the lead, 60 to Jonathan and Matt's 20. As we talked about during the warming up, Chris, and thanks to Carmela and Jonathan's suggestion, round 3 is a triple tri-bond round. That's right. It's round 3. It's 3 questions, and they're all tri-bonds. So here we go. Your first question in round 1 is a music tri-bond. And the question is, what musical group had the following 3 albums? A Night at the Opera, A Kind of Magic, Innuendo.
Matt, we can lock in. I don't know what you're sending, but I know the answer.
You got some meow meows, Jonathan?
I got all the meow meows. Wait, I want my phone unlock.
Yeah. I also have meow meows, so.
Ooh.
Well, then I think we're going to have a 3, 2, 1 coming up.
Would you? All right, I will count it down then. 3, 2, 1.
Queen.
All right, Queen is correct. Well done. Your second tri-bond in the tri-bond round is a movie tri-bond. And your question is, what actor or actress was in the following 3 movies? Dogma, Grown Ups, Wild Wild West.
I can lock that in too, Matt. I'll tell you what it is. Yep, we're locked in.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, I just did a show called Hollywood Cast Connection, which kind of works like this, right? Trying to figure out who was in what movie together. So I know Salma Hayek was in Dogma. I think I remember her in Wild Wild West. I've never seen Grown Ups, so that's the only one I don't remember.
Yeah, I've seen Dogma, I've seen Wild Wild West, but I haven't seen Grown Ups either. So,
okay. Do you remember Salma Hayek in Wild Wild West?
I think that's most people, by the way. Most people have seen the first 2 and not Grown Ups.
Hey, Grown Ups was better than Wild Wild West. Thank you very much.
Well, I saw Wild Wild West, when I was a kid or whatever. Working at a movie theater ruined going to the movies for me. So I don't go to the movies that much. I watch movies, but I don't go to the movies that much.
I was just going to say, Jonathan, don't dog it.
But Salma Hayek is probably the best I'm going to get out of that because Jason Mewes wasn't in Wild Wild West. I don't think, oh gosh, what's her last name? Linda something. She was also in Men in Black.
I know who you're talking about, but
yeah,
I don't know her last name either.
I don't think she was in Wild Wild West. Chris Rock wasn't in Wild Wild West. Jason Lee wasn't in Wild Wild West. I think it's going to be Salma Hayek.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, so Salma Hayek.
And Jonathan and Matt.
She was one of my 20-year-old crushes. It was 100% Salma Hayek.
And your answer is Salma Hayek. Well done, everybody.
Yay.
Salma Hayek played Adam Sandler's wife in Grown Ups, and I believe it's Linda Fiorentino was who you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. It's funny that you meant that it ended up being Salma Hayek because I just talked about being on Hollywood Cast Connection, and that was one of the connections I had to make was I had to connect Salma Hayek to somebody else, and I used Dogma for it. So.
Nice. Respect. All right. Your final question in the tri-bond round is a literature tri-bond.
Literature. We're tri-bound with the bread bowl.
That's right. And what author wrote the following 3 novels? Cat's Cradle, Dead-Eye Dick, Hocus Pocus.
I can lock in, Matt.
I knew it after the first one. I just couldn't write his name down.
Actually, without the first one, I wouldn't know it. That's the only one I knew. I'm just making sure Matt's
Joe?
good. Yep, we're locked in.
All right, so are we.
So I read Cat's Cradle in my 20s or so, and I didn't know what to expect. It was the first thing I'd ever read by this author, and it was surprisingly good. And it was Kurt Vonnegut Jr., or just Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah, I've read a few Vonnegut's. Cat's Cradle, when you said that, I'm like, there's only one person who has that book title, so we said Vonnegut. All
right. Probably should have chose that as the last one. The answer is Kurt Vonnegut. Well,
I've read
done,
Dead-Eye
everybody.
Dick too, so.
Well, I was trying to choose maybe at least 1 or 2 lesser known novels, and then have one that was I don't want to say an insta-get, but fairly insta-get. All right. So after 3 rounds, Jonathan and Matt kind of got their groove back in round 3. But Carmela and Joe are tearing it up. It is 90-50. So with Carmela and Joe in the lead, 90-50, I have actually two midpoint categories. Jonathan and Matt, I'm going to give you those two categories, and I want you to choose one of them, and then we'll use that as the question for our midpoint.
Okay, cool.
Your midpoint categories are United States geography or Canadian politics.
Matt, this isn't this isn't about them. This is about us.
Yeah, it's about us knowing United States geography as opposed to, unless the answer is Justin Trudeau, I'm out.
Yeah, no, me too. Let's do
Four
U.S.
times.
So,
Justin Trudeau 4 times.
yeah,
U.S. geography,
Trudeau
please.
way. Yes.
We'll throw it to Pierre Trudeau just in case.
All right, locking that in. Here we go. All right, so for 4 points each, I want you to name the 5 states that contain the Continental Divide Trail that spans from Canada to Mexico.
Really great if I knew where the Continental Divide was. So you want us to name 4 of the 5?
Nope, it is. I want you, for 4 points each, I want you to name all 5.
Oh, name all 5. Okay.
Yep.
All right, we're going to lock in.
All right. So I want to go straight up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. Like I said, I flip Nebraska and Kansas all the time. And I apologize to my friends in Kansas. I don't mean to do that. I think, is Iowa to the east of Kansas? Because that's in Meemaw. So Minnesota,
Kansas,
Iowa, Missouri.
I think Kansas and Missouri share that border because Kansas City is in between Missouri and Kansas.
That's true. Okay. So that's to the east. I want to go straight up.
Because I think Missouri is beneath Iowa because it's also next to Illinois.
Yeah, because Meemaw is Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
Up would be Nebraska.
Okay. And then above that would be...
I don't know if it's Minnesota or the Dakotas. If it's only 5 states, that would be Minnesota. But
I don't know. Montana's pretty big.
But maybe, I think that's more west.
It is, but does any of Nebraska touch Montana? Because it doesn't have to be a straight line.
Right.
It's like maybe it curves into Montana. If it was me by myself, I'd do Montana, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. But you live closer to that area than I do. So.
Yeah, I've walked this trail numerous times. No. I'm good with what'd you say, Montana as the 5th one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. It's big and it's flat.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so Montana, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. That's our answer.
Okay. And Matt and Jonathan.
Yeah, I think we'll agree with you on Montana, but we think it's further west. We think it's in the mountains. We think it's in the Rockies, the Continental Divide. I actually grew up in Missouri, so it's really...
I was worried about that, but I didn't have a better way of going than straight up the middle.
No.
So
how are you defining it, Carmela? I feel like we had different definitions for what we thought we were talking about.
We decided to go with Great Plains states because we thought that was
okay.
Before it gets into the mountains.
So when I hear Continental Divide, what I think is it's which direction the water flows. So it has to be a peak because when the rain falls, it flows down left on one side and right on the other side. And so that's why we went to the tallest states we could.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just didn't have a good definition of what Continental Divide means.
Yeah.
I've actually I've had a chance to travel out there when I was a kid. So there's a lot of verbiage about the Continental Divide being out in that area. Now, which states they are. The 5 we picked, it kind of works down between if you kind of take down between Montana, Idaho, which set next to each other, Utah, Colorado are right below those, sitting next to each other, and then into New Mexico is really where we went. So we picked Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico.
We're hoping it goes at an angle.
Yeah.
All right.
And if that's the definition, then my sister would get this question because she grew up in Colorado, not me.
I'm pretty sure that's the
a
definition.
very flat state.
From north to south, it goes Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico.
Okay.
So 16 points for Jonathan and Matt.
Utah and Colorado are side by side. So
And then
maybe
4
that's
points
why.
for Carmela and Joe.
The question for us, it's like there's it had to be a diagonal line to hit 5 states. And so it's like, okay, does that diagonal go far enough south to clip Utah and go into Colorado? Or did it go far enough east to clip Wyoming and go into Colorado?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Wyoming's the one we left out. We had Wyoming and Arizona too. We made a guess of that's how it went. So we were close.
That's
Well, we got one.
Yeah, that's right. You did get one. So after the midpoint, Carmela and Joe still have the lead, 94. But Jonathan and Matt made up some ground. They have 66. So
is it too late to pick politics of Canada?
Well, thank you guys for letting me try that new little thing out. I appreciate it.
That worked out well
right.
for the trailing team.
like
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that is the end of the first half. Before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that I am super excited that today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So I'm a big, big fan of BetterHelp. They are a service that is used to assess your needs and match you up with a licensed professional therapist. You do it online. You can message back and forth however much you want. And BetterHelp gives you access to weekly counseling sessions, whether it's on Zoom or on the phone. I just mentioned messaging. That's one of the great things about it. The aspect of having weekly calls and sessions and the messaging makes this more affordable than traditional offline counseling. There's even financial aid available. They have licensed professional counselors ready to deal with anything from depression to relationships to self-esteem to grief. It could be anything. The thing is this, as you're listening to me, you're probably thinking to yourself, is there something I need counseling about? Is there something that's going on in my life that it would really benefit me to talk to somebody who's not going to judge me, who's going to be able to listen to me, and is going to be able to offer insightful opinions? And also have a great background in therapy so that it's not just talking to a friend, it's talking to somebody who has a background in things that are going to help you. That's what BetterHelp's about. I've used it. The first time that we ran an advertisement for BetterHelp, I started using it, and it has been a big thing for me in my life. I have overcome 3 or 4 things that were holding me back. For years, they've been holding me back. And over the course of 3 months and you know me, I'm always going to try and overachieve, right? So my counselor was always surprised with me. She's like, Jonathan, you're doing this stuff so fast. And so it's up to you what your pace is. It's up to you how much effort you're going to put in. But having that person there and being able to message them, I was sending messages every day, long messages every day. And I was working my stuff out, and I'd ask questions about it, and I'd get the responses. And I mean, guys, I really, really believe in this product. I really believe in BetterHelp. They did a great job connecting me with a counselor that was right for me. And if you get connected with somebody that's not your cup of tea, you just switch. You just push a button. I don't want to work with this counselor anymore. Let me go to the next one. And you'll find somebody who's right for you. I know there are lots of people out there that can benefit from this. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you're going to get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/TWA. There are tons of people who are using BetterHelp right now. You could be one of them. That's BetterHelp. That's HELP.com/TWA. Give it a try. You won't regret it. Today's show is also sponsored by EveryPlate. You guys, you can have full plates. You can have fuller wallets by using America's Best Value Meal Kit. That's right. EveryPlate makes it easy and affordable. So it's not just easy, and it doesn't just taste good, even though it is easy and it does taste good. But it's also affordable. That's the difference that EveryPlate makes. They give you easy-to-follow recipe cards. The portions are pre-done. You don't have to spend as much time prepping. You don't have to spend as much time cooking. The recipes are coming together in around 30 minutes or so. It's faster than a trip to the grocery store and definitely faster than starting your meal from scratch. Sebastian and I made one the other day. It was a Chipotle meatloaf. Okay. It had the sides were roasted garlic mashed potatoes and carrots. And it was fantastic. I would have never thought to put Chipotle sauce on a meatloaf. I'm kind of standard. I'm kind of basic, right? It was so good. It was so good, y'all. Even Sebastian liked it. And Sebastian doesn't like anything. You know what I mean? You should give it a try. And here's how you can do it. You could try every plate for just $1.99 per meal, plus an additional 20% off of your next 2 boxes by going to everyplate.com and entering code TWA199. Did y'all hear what I said? $1.99 per meal. That's a great value. Get started with every plate for just $1.99 per meal, plus an additional 20% off of another 2 weeks by going to everyplate.com and entering code TWA199. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game.
So it's round 4. It's question 1. If I'm hosting, you know what that means. That's right. It's Chris destroys a hit. So let me give you the deets on this song.
Ooh, Chris has deets.
I do have deets. This song rose to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in 1973. Rolling Stone magazine also named it the number 390th out of its top 500 greatest songs of all time. I want you to name the song by using the following opening lyrics.
Okay.
All right. When are you gonna come down? When are you going to land? I should have stayed on the farm. I should have listened to my old man. No by the way. I just wanted to do the at the end because it sounded like it flowed. And the lyrics are, without Chris's spin. When are you gonna come down? When are you going to land? I should have stayed on the farm. I should have listened to my old man. And again, the deets, it was a number 2 song in 1973 on the Billboard Top 100. And Rolling Stone magazine named it 390 out of its 500 greatest songs of all time.
Matt, it's the second one I said. I'm 100% on it.
Okay. Go ahead and lock it in.
Yeah, we're locked in.
All right.
Oh, well, it looks like Joe just agreed with me, but I know this song. This is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Elton John.
At first, I initially wrote Rocket Man because of Come Down, and then I was singing it in my head and getting to the next part of the verse, I'm like, that does not lead into Rocket Man. Where is this going? And I had to go all the way through to the chorus to get to the right song. We said goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.
So the name of this episode should be Goodbye Bread Bowl.
Goodbye Bread Bowl.
Goodbye Bread Bowl.
Bread Bowl will give you wings. All right. And Carmela, you never said if that was officially your answer. You just said it. So are you good with that answer, or do you want to change it after what Jonathan said?
That was her answer.
And 2 yes, that absolutely was my answer.
Fair enough. And your
answer. I don't want it to make it seem like I'm, running over Joe, because I'm not trying to.
All right. Your answer is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. Well done, teams. All right.
That's a fun song. It's really impossible to sing if you don't have like a super high voice, though.
Also, if you don't know the words initially,
good call.
We used to do karaoke roulette. My mom used to be a karaoke DJ, so she knew a lot of other DJs. And so we'd do karaoke roulette. And I got the disc that started with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And I'm like, well, I'm 10 and I've never heard this song before. And now I will never forget that song.
Your question 2 in round 4 is in science and food. Science!
Food!
And the question is, the stigma of the crocus flower, and that's spelled Crocus, flower grown in the Mediterranean, East Asia, and in the Irano-Turan region, is used to make what spice?
All right. I like that, Matt. I think we can lock that in.
Yep. Agreed.
Cool. We're locked in.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. Saffron is used a lot in Mediterranean and Middle East, especially Middle Eastern dishes. So I think you're right, Joe. You want to go with that?
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a bit of, I know it's really hard to produce, and I was reading a story that there's a lot of controversy surrounding how it's, made, but that was my first thought. So,
yeah, the only other thing I was thinking of was turmeric, but I think I'm getting stuck on things that turn food yellow. So, but I think saffron is made from an actual flower. I think turmeric is like a root. So I'm good with saffron.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, Matt and Jonathan.
Our first, both of us kind of threw the same answer up at the same time, and wasn't a lot of discussion on it. We both really came up to saffron right away. So that's a pretty, if you cook, it's expensive. So to get some saffron, and then you get a little bit for a lot of money. So we're going to go with saffron.
You know what's funny about the reason that I lean towards saffron is when Sebastian was young, we used to watch Disney Junior all the time. And there was a cartoon called Sophia the First, which was a little princess. And they had an episode called Hocus Crocus, where they needed to find the most rare flower in the kingdom. And so the rarity of the name crocus in that show led me to the rarest or most expensive spice that goes with it. So that's why I felt good about saffron.
All right. And it takes between 70,000 to 250,000 flowers to make 1 pound of this. It is saffron.
Nice.
Your final question, round 4, is in sports ball. Sports. And the question is, as of 2018, what European country has received the most Winter Olympic medals with 368? Winter Olympics don't get enough love here at the Trivial Warfare. Bringing it back.
I'm good with that, Jonathan, if you want to go.
Yeah, that's both of us are thinking the same thing.
Yep.
All right, we're going to lock in.
I would think it would be Russia more than a Scandinavian country, just because of its dominance for so long.
I always leave Russia out, and I don't mean to. But yeah, I do think they're considered Europe in this case because their capital's on the European side. But that makes total sense. I mean, now, of course, if people are going to be picky, like, oh, they were the USSR at that point.
That's true, too.
Yeah, and I hope that that's not the case here. I think we're just going to say that that's all Russia. I mean, the country still technically exists. I'm cool with Russia. I mean, Olympics especially is not I'm not good at this. So Russia sounds good to me. I know they were big rivals for hockey at the very least. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's your locked in answer?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
So I hope it's not Russia. If it's Russia, then using the European clue is like, oof. But we know that Norway is a country that wins a few medals in certain events every single year. Biathlon is one of those. Like, they always win biathlon. There's a couple of others like that. And if you look at however many years the Winter Olympics have been around, and if you can lock down 4 or 5 medals in different events regularly, then you can get up to the 300s. So we went with Norway.
So this country has won 132 gold, 125 silver, and 111 bronze to equal 368. And that country is Norway.
Wow.
Good job.
Finally got one.
Sorry, Carmela. That's my fault.
You're good. No big deal.
After 4 rounds, Jonathan and Matt got a little closer. And it is 114 for Carmela and Joe to Jonathan and Matt's 96.
Okay. All right.
Respect.
Okay. And your round 5 question 1 category is in current events. And the question is, who was the first female Treasury Secretary of the United States sworn in on January 26, 2021?
Oh, you sound confident. Are you confident?
Yes.
Do you have meow-meows?
I just watch a lot of stuff. I'm meow.
All right. I guess they're locked in, Carmela and Joe.
Well, Joe, you're the one who said it first.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
I think her first name is Janet, but I think it's Yellen because I think she had, I don't know if she was in charge of the Fed or something before it, but I know that she got brought back into it. So we said Yellen.
And Jonathan and Matt.
Matt, that's all you, dude.
Yeah, no, Janet Yellen. Yeah, she was the former Fed. Joe, you're right, former head of the Federal Reserve Bank. So Janet Yellen, locked in.
And your answer is Janet Yellen. Well done, both teams. We got a fight here now. We got a legitimate fight. This is great. All right. Your question 2 in round 5 is brought to you by Rob Warman. So thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
And this is in literature.
Literature.
A magical phoenix is a character that figures into the plot of multiple Harry Potter novels and movies. The name of Dumbledore's flaming bird was an intentional reference to what November holiday?
Yeah, we can lock in.
Yep.
All right, they're locked in.
Joe just types faster than I do. Also, it auto-corrected to gawked, and I'm like, nope, that's not right. Yeah, we're pretty sure this is Guy Fawkes Day.
Okay. And Matt and Jonathan?
My autocorrect turned it into Guy Fawkes Day. We also went with Fawkes and said Guy Fawkes Day.
I would have gone with Guy Fawkes Day or Guy Fawkes Night. That is the correct answer. 10 points to both teams.
Is Guy Fawkes Day my birthday, by the way? I think it is.
November 5th. Yeah, it is your birthday.
So you just need to get a cool mask there, Jonathan.
I have a cool mask. You've never seen me without it.
That's true. Valid point. When you're right, you're right. You're always right. All right. So your last question, round 5, is in European history. And the question is, along with Spain, England, and the Holy Roman Empire, what unlikely country fought in the War of the League of Cambrai, and that's Cambrai, from 1511 to 1516?
Canbari? Canbari?
Cambria.
Yes. I think, yeah, Cambria.
Cambria.
Yeah. Cambrai. Yeah.
Well, it's not Cambria then. Is it AI or IA?
It's AI.
All right, we're locked in.
Okay. I don't know what this is, Matt. I've never heard of the League of Cambrai.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the League of Cambria either, so.
I've heard of Coheed and Cambria.
Yes, I've heard of the font Cambria. It honestly makes me wonder if you might have mistyped it, Chris, because Cambria is a thing. I've never heard of Cambrai.
I will double check. Give me just a moment, please, sir. And it is Cambrai. I did spell it correctly.
Okay, thank you. So Spain and England, this is before the navies became a big deal. So It's not Armada related. The HRE would be, you're talking about things like Italy and Germany and right up the middle of the right side of the continent. I feel like this is maybe Denmark?
Yeah, I was going to say the Danes, because you watch Viking. That's kind of everybody was coming from Denmark. There's a show I've been watching, and it's the Danes are in England, and it's around that same time period. That would have been my first guess too, Jonathan, is to go the northern, somewhere that Scandinavian type country that's not typically like with Spain, France, what you would think, Italy. But yeah, I think Denmark was one of my first. Denmark but I don't think Norway, Sweden, Finland, you don't hear those guys in there. No. But Denmark absolutely was moving out looking for agricultural lands in other countries.
Well, and also this feels like this is within the 100 Years' War area. And Denmark was a major player in the 100 Years' War, like King Christians. There's a bunch of King Christians, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I got there. So I'd be cool with saying Denmark.
Yeah, I think we were kind of on that same wavelength, so I can go with Denmark and live with that.
Okay, we'll lock in Denmark.
Yeah, we picked up on unlikely. We were hoping it was a clue. We went with Switzerland because they're usually neutral in a lot of wars. So when he said unlikely, we went with Switzerland.
That's a pickup of a good clue if that's the right answer.
Yeah. And the answer is, it was the last war they ever fought in. It is Switzerland.
Wow.
Good job, Joe.
Wow.
Switzerland, I'm like, that would be unlikely.
Props. That's impressive. Well done.
All right. After 5 rounds, Carmela and Joe keep the lead, 144 to Matt and Jonathan's 116. All right, and this is round 6. In round 6, I usually give this round to one of our awesome Patreon listeners to write the questions for. And I want to say thank you so much to Brian Nash for writing these next 3 questions.
Thanks, Brian. I hope they're all about video games.
Get me Spider-Man.
That's right. Yes, J.K. Simmons, we appreciate you so much.
Brian did the new intro voiceover for Things That Are Blank this season, by the way.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. You can hear his vocal stylings on that show. And by the way, this is season 2 of Things That Are Blank. The whole year is pre-recorded they're about to record the absolute like final championships now that are going to air at the end of the year, and so we know what's going to happen this year. It's really freaking cool. So if you haven't been listening to things that are blank, it's a really, really good season. A lot of fun.
So your first question in the Brian Nash round is in movies.
Movies.
And your question is, which 2016 presidential hopeful has exactly one movie acting credit when they played a surgeon in the less than stellar Farrelly Brothers comedy Stuck on You? Yeah, this movie sucked.
That'd be hilarious. I'm cool with that, Joe. You want to go with that?
Let's do it.
All right, we're locked in.
And they're having fun. That's the best part.
So yeah, I suck at all things campaign related. So I threw out the names Biden, Clinton, Santorum, Huckabee. I don't remember any of the Republican. Oh wait, no, not. I don't think Romney did, but Rick Perry is a guy, the Texas guy.
Rick Perry did.
Think of all the people that Trump insulted, and that's like going to be a good list of all the other people that were in the race.
We're going to be here for a while if you look at every person he's ever insulted on the campaign trail.
Warren,
Lion Ted Cruz, Little Marco. I mean, he had all kinds of names for people over there.
Setting the timer for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So Rubio is a fair point.
Rubio.
Cruz, yeah. Okay, so do you know the movie at all? I've never seen the movie.
No. It's I've heard of it, obviously, but I haven't seen it.
Was Chris Christie a candidate in 2016? Because that seems like the kind of thing he might do, a Farrelly Brothers movie.
That's a good idea. Yeah, Chris Christie started out in the campaign. He did.
That's not a terrible answer. I don't know anything about the Farrelly Brothers.
What about Hillary Clinton?
I don't think so.
That's something she would do.
I have no idea.
On Between Two Ferns, it was hilarious. On Between Two Ferns, if you saw that with Zach Galifianakis.
I didn't see it.
To take a chance to look at that. Yeah. Yeah. I like Chris Christie work.
If it had been an Adam Sandler movie, I'd feel better about Chris Christie. He seems like he might have been an Adam Sandler movie. But okay, hold on. Let's back up. A Hollywood movie, probably going to be on the liberal side of the spectrum. I don't know much about the Farrelly Brothers, but maybe they wouldn't. Maybe it won't be a Republican candidate.
Yeah, that's why I was looking Democrat. So, like, you had Hillary, you had Bernie, were the two big ones.
You know what? I don't know. It could be anybody, honestly.
Any of those, yeah.
We got to give an answer, though. Yeah, what do you want to do?
I want to say Clinton. This is because I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was Bernie if you think about presidential hopeful.
Yeah, my problem with that is that she was the main candidate, and you wouldn't calling that person a presidential hopeful. That's like, here's a really easy answer, you know?
Yeah, true. So wait, would you want to do then you want to do Christie? You think Chris Christie?
You know what? I'm arguing against yours, but I don't have a good one to put in his place. We can go Clinton. That's fine.
Yeah. Let's go Hillary Clinton.
All right.
Chris Christie's a pretty good answer. I kind of wish he thought of that because that sounds like something Chris Christie would do. However, Joe threw out Ben Carson, who is an actual surgeon, and that would be so hilarious to me to see him in a movie because I'm like, my opinion of Ben Carson aside. But anyway, but I think this movie is it's got Greg Kinnear in it. It's about the conjoined twins. It's a weird movie, but we end up going with Ben Carson.
Well, the answer is the one surgeon that was running for president. It was Ben Carson. Yep,
man,
HUD, secretary.
Matt, it's not like we're playing badly. We're either on the right answers or we're near the right answers. But good God,
one of those days.
One of those days.
All those the Democratic candidates, all of them were on Saturday Night Live, and I figured that would be acting credits for them. So
I thought he said movie though. I thought he said movie credit.
Oh,
yep, has exactly one movie acting credit.
Never mind.
Well, points, man.
Your second question, the Brian Nash round, is in science.
Arms.
Thank you. On the periodic table of elements, I want you to name one of the two elements that are last alphabetically.
All right.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I already know the answer I want to give. I'm just making sure that Joe's okay with it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. We're locked in.
They are locked in.
So I asked Matt if he could think of any that started with a Z, and he said zinc. And I'm like, I don't know if zinc is an element. And I'm worried that zinc might not be an element. And I know that there's a really weird name one that's like yttrium, which is like YYITTRIUM or something like that. And I'm confident that is an element. I don't know if zinc is an element.
Yeah, I don't know. And every time I come on the show, there's going to be periodic tables, and I'm terrible at it. Actually, gave you the name of the show one time I was on because I said it could be Scooby-Dooium, and I don't know. It's not my. I have gone through grad school with never taking a chemistry class, so shame on me, obviously. But man, I just have no idea. Zinc was the only thing I could come up with, Jonathan. That was a Z. Is it on the table? No idea.
I don't know for sure. I'd rather go yttrium and hope I'm pronouncing it closely enough.
Oh, the YTT one?
It's either
Yttrium.
YYT or YTT or something like that. I think it's pronounced yttrium.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's what we'll go with.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and I'm saying this more to you than to the audience. When we reduce this from two elements to one element, it makes this question super easy because zinc is 100% on the periodic table chart. And so this makes this a round 1 question, not a round 6 question, in my opinion. But yeah, we went with zinc.
And your answers are zirconium and zinc.
Oh no!
And zirconium is the one that Joe threw out. So.
Oh, Matt.
Well,
bro.
Wow.
Well, round 1 question, huh, Carmela? Yeah.
I think you overcomplicated it because if this is a round 1 question, you would have gone with zinc.
I don't think I would have. I wasn't sure zinc was on the table. Of course, the table's not my strength either, so whatever.
All right. I always love a good table.
We'll
play games on it, eat on it.
We'll always have lithium, Matt.
Yeah, that's right. Lithium.
All right. Your last question in the Brian Nash round is in North American geography or geography. And Brian's question to you is, which of the Great Lakes extends the furthest south?
All right. I'm good with that. We can lock that in. We're locked in, guys.
I feel like Michigan is the one that visually stands out, and it's at the level, the tip of Lake Michigan southwise is at Chicago. So if you draw a line from Chicago to the Atlantic, does it pass through any Great Lakes?
Well, you have Cleveland sits on Erie. You have it sits on that northern border of Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Cleveland sits on Erie?
I believe so, in that area.
Okay.
It's in that area. I don't know whether it sits on it or not. I don't know, but it's in that area. But Lake Erie, that's South Buffalo, south of Buffalo, Erie Canal. Erie's south, I know that.
I thought, you sure that Cleveland isn't on Michigan? Like on the south, like...
Well, Cleveland would be over by Lake Huron and in that area.
I mean, I'm trying to visualize the states here, right? So Illinois, what's directly to the right of Illinois? Oh, is it Iowa?
Indiana. So to the east or west? Let's go that way.
To the east.
To the east is Indiana.
Indiana is next to... I'm not good at this.
Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania goes to the east. Michigan's north. Michigan's got the hands. As I pull my hands up, nobody can see. But and Joe's smiling. But you have a Great Lake on the east of it, and Lake Michigan on the west.
Right,
of it.
but Lake Michigan goes all the way down Illinois. Well, halfway down Illinois to Chicago. So I can't visualize the other ones being further south. But if you're telling me Cleveland is on a Great Lake, Cleveland might be further south than Chicago.
It's north. It's in that northwest corner. They're all up there, kind of on that same line. For me, I think Michigan's the easy answer.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think if I have to ask, but unless there's some weird tributary coming out of one of the lakes that they're calling part of the lake, but for me, it's either Michigan or Erie. It's going to be close.
Well, I'll let you take the answer, dude, because I don't have good. I always struggle with that area.
Well, the way it's going today, Jonathan, we're going to get the wrong answer. So, I mean, we're going to.
That's why I'm deferring to you.
Yeah,
Oh, he's making you the at-fault party here.
So you want to use Matt's wrong answer? I get that. That's perfect. I like that. I like that. So I would go Erie. I know Jonathan would go Michigan, and he's deferred to me. So I'm going to say Lake Erie.
All right.
And then he can yell at me later.
Well, in my head, it was between Michigan and Erie, but Joe had some thunder, and he lives near Great Lakes, so I trusted his opinion.
Yeah. Well, we had a cabin in Canada as a kid, and we always had to. It was right on Lake Erie, and I think that's a little farther south than the tip of Lake Michigan, because Cleveland does sit on Lake Erie, but then it goes even farther east than that, and it kind of dips into Pennsylvania and New York. And we went with Lake Erie.
Okay.
Yeah, I know definitely is in Pennsylvania.
Funny enough, Joe, in high school, I had a girlfriend in Canada.
Oh, really?
So, yes, absolutely.
She probably lived at that cabin.
Cool.
Yes. All right. So, Lake Michigan is the wrong answer. The answer is Lake Erie.
All right, Matt.
We did one.
I celebrate your honor.
Took us all 6 rounds to do it, but we did it.
With the tip of the glass. So after 6 rounds, going into the gauntlet, Carmela and Joe have a phenomenal 174 points. They've run roughshod through this whole
Carmela's
game.
running roughshod over everything lately.
True story, hashtag. But Jonathan and Matt have a very
He's going to start putting me by myself, and I don't like it.
Jonathan and Matt, however, have a very respectable 126. 126. All right. And your gauntlet category is origin stories. Origin stories.
All right. Our wager's locked in.
Excellent. All right. You guys locked in?
Yep. Our wager is locked in.
Excellent. All right. So your first question in the origin stories gauntlet. The origin of this item dates back to the 15th century, where people would use clay jars to save money in.
You want to go with that, Joe?
Yeah, we can go with that.
All right. We're locked in.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. We can lock in.
All right. Your second question. What child's product was first manufactured as wallpaper cleaner in the 1930s? It was then reworked in the 1950s and marketed to schools in the Cincinnati area.
Yeah, I know. That makes the most sense to me, or something like it.
We can lock in.
Play-Doh would be my other thing.
Oh, that's a good one, too. I feel like I like Play-Doh more than my answer, only because I think it's more school-oriented. Like, you see that more in schools than you would.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. All right. We'll go with that then. You cool with that? All right. Our answer's locked in.
And your final question in the Origin Stories Gauntlet. In 1915, teenager Thomas Lyle Williams noticed his older sister was mixing coal dust with petroleum jelly to use as eye makeup. This sparked Williams to found what multinational cosmetic company whose name is a portmanteau of his sister's first name and the brand of petroleum jelly that was used. And I'd be amiss not to say thank you to Scott Barber for writing this question for me. So thank you, Scott.
All right. We are locked in.
All right.
Cool. We're locked in.
So I'm going to read back the questions. You guys will give the answers, and we'll finish this thing up. So your first question was, the origin of this item dates back to the 15th century, where people would use clay jars to save money in them. Carmela and Joe, we're going to start with you, please.
The thing that made the most sense to us was a piggy bank. So that's what we went with.
Okay. And Jonathan and Matt.
Piggy, Siggy, Piggy, Siggy, Piggy.
We said piggy bank.
Oh, that was such a good Bill and Ted reference. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Jonathan.
We said piggy bank.
Okay. All right. Your second question is, what child's product was first manufactured as a wallpaper cleaner in the 1930s? It was then reworked in the 1950s and marketed to schools in the Cincinnati area. Matt and Jonathan.
We went with Silly Putty as the cleaner because of the way when you put it on something, you can transfer stuff off. So we went with Silly Putty.
Okay. And Joe and Carmela.
We talked about Silly Putty, but then I also threw out Play-Doh, and we decided we liked that better, so we went with Play-Doh.
And your final question, again, thank you, Scott Barber, is in 1915, teenager Thomas Lyle Williams noticed his older sister was mixing coal dust with petroleum jelly to use as eye makeup. This sparked Williams to found what multinational cosmetics company whose name is a portmanteau of his sister's first name and the brand of petroleum jelly used. And Carmela and Joe.
Joe, do you think maybe she's born with it?
I don't know. I think it's Maybelline.
We went with Maybelline.
All right. And Matt and Jonathan.
And you guys heard us kind of suss that out with, we figured Vaseline was possibly it, and then it just kind of came.
All right. So here are the answers. We have one question that was different, so we're going to save that one for the last one. So the clay jars, they were made out of the pig clay that it was made from. It is a piggy bank. Well done, both teams. And Thomas Lyle Williams founded Maybelline. Yes, his sister's name was Mabel. So
Cool.
Well done. And finally, the child's product that was first manufactured as wallpaper cleaner in the 30s and then reworked in the 50s was Play-Doh.
Jonathan, it wouldn't have been right for us to win it, just how this day is. Right?
You're probably right. We didn't even think about Play-Doh, man.
Yeah. We just silly put it. Yep, let's move on.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yep.
I thought it was
All
right.
right.
I didn't have any
So we-
doubt until she said Play-Doh, and then I was like,
Yeah, it was like,
All right. So unfortunately, it's not going to come down to bets, but we want to find out what the final score of the game is. So Jonathan and Matt, what was your bet and what was your thought process before getting them wrong?
it was very much a case of it doesn't feel like they would bet it. They would bet for a full lockout. And so it felt like the best strategy to have a chance of winning would be to bet it all. So we bet it all, and we'll finish with 0.
Right. And for scoring purposes, Carmela and Joe, what was your bet?
So I knew we could bet 47 conservatively, but we also thought it's Joe's first time. Let's go bigger. I don't remember the right formula to do a lockout, so we just bet one more than your score. So we bet 127.
Wow.
Well, that would lock
All
somebody out.
Yeah.
All right.
For what it's
And
worth,
with
just add double to our score, and then figure out how many you need to add to yours to get over that number. That's the lockout.
That's
That
way
makes
too
sense.
much math, Jonathan.
I was like, we'll just bet one more than theirs. They're like, all right, cool.
So Matt, we made the bet we had to make.
yeah, that was it.
Yep.
We did the right thing, except the answer.
With a total of 301-0, your winners of Trivial Warfare is Carmela and Joe.
It's like a game of darts. They beat us in 301. Jeez. All right. Well, that was a strong game. Really good job by Carmela and Joe there. Before we wrap up, we want to give everybody a chance to do shout outs and promote causes they care about. Matt, we'll start with you.
No cause, always happy to be here. Check in on people. That's what I always say. Just check in on people. Everybody's still stuck at home in cases, and there's cold weather. So in other places of the country, not so much Florida, but man, just call somebody a day, every day. Just check on somebody maybe you haven't talked to for a couple of weeks. Just check how they're doing. I think that says a lot, and it does a lot for people to lift spirits. So keep doing that.
Outstanding. Thank you. And Joe, you're up.
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, I really just love the community of Trivial Warfare. I have a newborn at home, so hobbies are hard to come by right now. Trivia is always just something that I can kind of fall back to. In terms of causes goes, biggest thing that I can think of for right now is just shop local. Like, there are so many good boutiques, little restaurants, even independent pharmacies that thrive on your patronage. And we, don't want the world to be run by Amazon and Walmart. So yeah, just seek them out. Every town has their little store, and I know that you'd be doing them all a huge favor.
So you're saying that you want to be the world's drug dealer.
You know what? Exactly.
That's right.
If that would be, yeah.
I think it's awesome. Support your local drug dealers. This is beautiful. No, I'm teasing. No, I love your message, though. Your message is 100% true.
I think you should support your local bread bowl.
Yes, you do need to support your local bread bowl.
I love you, Christopher.
I know you do.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up. So for Matt, for Joe, for Chris, and Carmela, I'm Jonathan. This has been another episode of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, Join the community and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit propodcastingservices.com.
Your question 2 and round 2 is brought to you by the legendary Rob Warman. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Rob. What was it? Rob. All right.